You don't have to announce your greatness. You don't have to scream your value. You don't have to explain your journey to those who were never meant to walk beside you in the first place. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is go silent, not weak, not passive, silent, because silence is not the absence of strength, it's the presence of control. It's the sign of someone who no longer needs to seek external validation because they found their internal truth. There comes a time in your life when you get tired of explaining yourself, tired of being misunderstood, tired of proving your worth to people who are committed to not seeing it. And when that time comes, there are only two options. You can keep talking, hoping they'll finally understand. Or you can fall back into your silence and let your life do the speaking. Because silence backed by purpose is louder than any speech ever made. They told you closed mouths don't get fed, but nobody ever told you that still water runs deep. Nobody told you that the tree that grows the strongest roots doesn't make noise while doing it. Everybody's trying to be loud right now. Everybody wants attention. But not everybody wants growth. You see, attention is fast food. It feeds your ego, but starves your spirit. It tastes good for a moment, but it leaves you empty. But growth is a quiet meal. It's cooked in solitude, served in silence. And it nourishes your soul for the long run. When you go silent, people will get uncomfortable. Let them. They're not reacting to your silence, they're reacting to their lack of control over you. Because silence is dangerous to manipulators. They can't twist what you didn't say. They can't spin your piece. They can't dominate a mind that doesn't argue back. And so they'll say you've changed. They'll say you've gotten cold. But the truth is you've just stopped bleeding for people who never intended to stop the bleeding. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them talk. Because the real ones know silence is the sound of strategy. It's the sound of someone sharpening their mind, focusing their energy, and preparing for something bigger. You see, when a lion stalks its prey, it doesn't roar. It moves in silence. It calculates. It conserves energy. Then it strikes. Some of you are in your lion season right now. You're not failing, you're focusing. You're not lost, you're listening. You're not broken, you're becoming. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You've already been through the fire. You've already felt what it's like to pour into others and be left empty. To give without receiving. To speak truth and be doubted. But look at you, still standing, still breathing, still building in silence while they think you disappeared. Let them sleep on you. Let them forget your name. Because when you rise, and you will, it won't be with noise. It'll be with purpose, with peace, with power. This is your moment to withdraw and rebuild. Turn off the noise. Shut out the drama. Disconnect from distractions and go back to the foundation. Who are you without the noise? Because if you can find clarity in the silence, you become unstoppable in the storm. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not less. You're just quiet. because you're finally listening to the only voice that matters, your own. So stay silent, stay focused, and watch how life bends in your direction. Not because you shouted, but because you finally stood still long enough for destiny to find you. People talk about success like it's a destination, like it's some mountaintop you reach after enough grind, enough hustle, enough noise. But the truth is, success isn't loud. It's not even busy. Success, real, lasting success is focused. See, the world will try to convince you that if you're not everywhere, you're nowhere. That if you're not constantly posting, updating, checking in, you must have fallen off. But let me tell you something most won't. Every time you chase every direction, you lose your direction. Every time you respond to noise, you lose your voice. Focus is rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. You want to change your life? Turn off the distractions. Mute the notifications. Cut the energy leaks. Go underground. While they're busy being seen, you're busy becoming. You're not missing out. You're mastering in silence. You're putting in the reps while they're reposting highlights. And when your moment comes, because it will, you won't need a spotlight. You'll be the fire. Don't be afraid to disappear for a while. That's how diamonds are made. In pressure, in darkness, in silence. Nobody claps for you when you're healing. Nobody cheers when you're up at 5 a.m. doing the work alone. But that's where the shift happens. That's where the beast is built. So don't chase applause. Chase alignment. Don't chase attention. Chase clarity. Because once you lock in, once your mind is fixed on where you're going, no force on this earth can stop you. Here's what they don't teach you. Focus is freedom. When you stop trying to please everybody, you free your energy. When you stop trying to fit in, you free your identity. When you stop explaining your vision to people with no sight, you free your time. And suddenly, life starts to open up. Doors appear. Opportunities find you. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Sometimes you've got to delete the app, put the phone down, say no to the invite, walk away from the noise, and get alone with your thoughts. Because that's when it hits you. You were never lost. You were just distracted. They wanted you to believe your value came from visibility. But your real value, it comes from vision. And vision grows best in silence. The world will keep pulling you. Scroll here, comment there, react, respond, repeat. But you're different now. You're awake. You're intentional. You're choosing peace over pressure, purpose over popularity, silence over chaos. You no longer need to prove who you are. You just need to become it. Focus is what builds the empire no one saw coming. It's what keeps you grounded when storms hit. It's what separates the ones who talk from the ones who transform. So cut the fluff, get ruthless with your attention. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. You're not just building a better life. You're building a stronger you one decision at a time, one silent day at a time, one focus hour at a time. You don't need another opinion. You don't need more likes. You need discipline. You need focus. You need that "don't call me, I'm locked in" energy. Because when you get real quiet with yourself, that's when the real answers show up. That's when alignment begins. And that's when life starts to shift in your favor, not by chance, but by choice. They told you success was out there, in the job, in the money, in the car, the house, the status. But nobody told you the truth. The most important game is the one you play with yourself. And most people lose. They lose because they never stop to look inward. They're too busy managing impressions to manage their inner world. Too busy looking successful to actually be at peace. But not you. You're waking up. And when you wake up, you stop chasing shadows. You start mastering substance. The mind, if undisciplined, becomes your prison. But if mastered, it becomes your freedom. And that's where silence comes in. Because in silence, you start hearing the noise that's been running unchecked in your head. The doubts, the fears, the comparison, the lies. Silence exposes the truth. And truth sets you free. You start asking different questions. Not, how do I get more followers? But what do I actually value? Not, how do I impress them? But do I even like the person I'm becoming? These are the hard questions, but they're the right ones. And the answers, they don't come from books or gurus. They come from quiet moments, from sitting in discomfort without escaping, from staring down your own soul and not looking away. You realize your biggest enemy was never them. It was always your own untrained mind, your own addiction to validation, your own habit of running instead of reflecting. But now you're training differently. You're no longer just hitting the gym. You're hitting a mental gym. You're strengthening your focus, sharpening your awareness, learning the power of restraint. Every time you say no to the noise, you say yes to your future. Every time you resist the urge to react, you build emotional muscle. And every time you sit with silence, you train yourself to be unshakable. Because peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the ability to stay centered in the middle of it, to hold your ground, to know who you are when the world tries to define you. Let them talk. Let them wonder where you've been. While they were busy performing, you were busy preparing. And when you reappear, you won't be recognizable. Because silence didn't just protect you, it transformed you. You won't need revenge. Your growth will speak louder. You won't need attention. Your presence will demand it. And you won't need validation because you'll finally be at peace with who you are. So ask yourself, are you ready to master the inner game? Because the truth is, You can't conquer the world until you conquer yourself. You didn't just go quiet to disappear. You went quiet to rebuild. While the world kept spinning in chaos, you slowed down. While they were arguing, proving, performing, you were listening, you were healing, you were preparing for your return. But let's make one thing clear. You're not coming back as who you used to be. You're not looking to fit in anymore. You're not seeking permission. You've outgrown the cage. See, silence teaches you something no noise ever could. That power isn't loud. Real power is stillness. It's calm under pressure. It's grace under fire. It's knowing who you are when no one's clapping. You no longer need their applause because you've given yourself something far greater, self-respect. And that changes everything. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating what disrespects your peace. You stop chasing after what drains your soul. You realize not every battle is worth your energy. Not every invitation deserves your presence. And not every voice deserves your attention. Because now you're protecting your frequency. You're tuned into something higher. And you refuse to lower your vibration just to feel included. You've become untouchable, not because nothing affects you, but because you've trained yourself how to respond. No more emotional outbursts. No more proving your point to people committed to misunderstanding you. No more explaining your growth to those still stuck in cycles you escaped. You don't owe them an explanation. Your life will be the evidence. Your peace will be the flex. Your silence will be the message. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them label your distance as arrogance. You don't move for noise anymore. You move with intention, with purpose, with alignment. This version of you, this silent, self-aware, focused version of you is dangerous because you're no longer driven by ego. You're driven by truth. And the truth is, you needed that silence. You needed that isolation. You needed to lose some people. You needed to break down so you could break through. That quiet season, it was your rebirth. It was your upgrade. It was your becoming. So here you are now, not just better, wiser, stronger, quieter but louder in impact, invisible to noise, but visible to purpose. And to anyone wondering where you went, tell them this: I didn't disappear. I just discovered who I really am. And now that I know, there's no going back.